Hiya, it's Mr. Baker here. Today we're going to be using a simulator from PhET, which is from the University of Colorado, looking at the reflection of light. So when you first go to the Bending Light webpage, this is what you'll see. You can do a few different experiments on here, and we probably will in future, but this is the first one we're looking at, and we're looking at reflection. And what you need to do is you need to click on this one when you get here, which is the intro. So when you click on this, you'll see something like this. This might be, let's reset it. So it will look more like this when you first go to it. And you'll see that we've got two different materials. This one up here, the white one, is set as air, and the one down the bottom is set as water. So I'm going to change this to start off with to glass. And what we've got up here, we've got like a laser, and you can move this around. And this is what we're going to use for our experiment to do with reflection today. So reflection is when light doesn't enter the material, doesn't get transmitted through, but it actually sort of bounces off the very surface, and it changes direction at the surface without entering the material. So if you look at this top line here, that we've got some light here coming out of our laser. It's hitting the boundary of the surface between the air and the glass, and this light here isn't being transmitted through, it's been reflected off. You can also see some of the light has gone through, and this is what we'll look at in the future. This is actually some light that's transmitted, and it's been refracted, and that's for a future time, but we're interested today in the light that is not being transmitted through. So it's the light here that's coming, hitting the surface and changing direction without entering. And you can see there's this dotted line here. Now this dotted line is a really important line when we're doing these kinds of investigations. This is called the normal line. It's a line that is at 90 degrees. So when if anything is normal in physics, it always means at right angles or at 90 degrees to a surface. So if this is our surface, the boundary between the air and the glass, this line here is at 90 degrees to it. So this is the normal line. Okay, so for your investigation, what you're going to be doing is using this protractor. So you'll need to drag this protractor up. Let's get rid of that light. Get that up so that it is just at the surface there. And so you can see that the angle is measured from the normal. So the angle here is 0 at the normal, and it's 90 at the surface of the boundary. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a series of measurements of different rays as they come in and as they get reflected away, and then you're going to write down what you found out. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward. So the first one you're going to do is you're going to turn on your light, and you can see that if you do 0, the light comes down and it reflects straight back up. So the angle of incidence is 0, and the angle of reflection is 0 too. What do I mean by the angle of incidence and the angle of reflection? Well, let's have a look at an example like this. So I've set it to 50 degrees here. So the ray that comes out of the laser here is called the incident ray. It's the ray of light that comes out of your light source, and the reflected ray is the one that has bounced off the material without entering it, and so this ray here has been reflected. So this is my incident ray, and this is my reflected ray. So this makes this angle here the incident angle, or the angle of incidence, and this angle here is the angle of reflection. Okay, and we always measure the angles from the normal to the ray rather than from the material to the ray. Okay, so that's the way that we do it. Okay, so in your experiment, what you'll do is you'll move this round different angles of incidence and measure the different angles of reflection, and then hopefully you'll be able to make some kind of conclusion from that. Okay, right, well, that's just a really quick introduction into reflection and how you can carry out an investigation using this simulator into it. I've been Mr. Baker, and I will see you next time.